Right then, if you've been a watcher of this YouTube channel over the 17 years that I've been producing content, you'll probably have seen that I cannot, for the life of me, finish a project that I get started on. And even now, especially now, in the game dev era of this YouTube channel, I'll start a project and then a week later, I'll be moving on to something else. Another idea that I found that I just find a lot more exciting. So for this video, I'll be giving myself a week, and every day of that week, I'll be starting a new project. And hopefully by the end of this week, I will have a project idea in mind that I will want to see through to the end of life in terms of development, adding all of the updates and features that I want to. And then that will be me signing off and finally finishing the first ever project on this YouTube channel. So let's get started. Right, day one. Now, like always, we're jumping into this challenge without any planning whatsoever. So on day one, I did what I tend to do when I have no idea what to spend my time on, and that's to remake games. So here we've got Cookie Clicker, a surprisingly simple game to remake. You click the cookie, get score, and spend the score to get upgrades and power-ups, which in turn gets you even more score. It's a 10 out of 10 game, and it did not need to be remade. So hopefully on day 2 we'll be able to be a little bit more creative with our time. Right, on to day 2. Now, I don't want to just recreate a game every day of the week, so this one will be different, he says while recreating Quop. Now, Quop, for those who are too young to remember, was a Flash game made by Bennett Foddy. Oh yes, the very same Bennett Foddy who created Getting Over It. Now, how could I possibly improve Quop? Well, with additional content, of course. So I've turned Quop into a sort of Quop Olympics. You've got the standard 100-meter dash, and then I've added a swing event. Your goal is to swing your legs out to gain momentum, and the timer will stop once you've swung all the way around. I never got around to implementing that, but you see the concept. And what else can you have at the Quop Olympics? Well, why not a bicycle race? It's similar to the 100-meter dash, except you're on a bike, and you've got to try to reach the end with the quickest time. I'm not entirely sure what's happening to this guy's existence right now, but the jank is funny, right? Right, so at day 3, I was fairly underwhelmed with my performance so far, so I took to the only place that I find inspiration from, the YouTube Shorts page. Surely here I'd be able to find something that would fit a good game idea. So due to the nature of YouTube Shorts, they show you videos of what the YouTube algorithm thinks that you would like, and the videos that I ended up being shown were all metal detector videos. So the plan for this is like so. You go around finding treasure, selling the items you found for cash, and you can buy upgrades for the metal detector to find better and more valuable treasures. Now, there was a part during development of this game that I was informed by a family member that this game was, quote, boring and needed more guns and zombies, which is obviously ridiculous and is exactly why I don't consult with 6-year-olds during game development. But in this case, he may have been correct. Whoa. That got pretty intense. Why don't you take some time over by the docks to reflect on what just happened? Okay, this game idea might require some explaining before we get into things. So, the premise is you're an employee working at a fast paced, fast food sandwich shop. You get customers coming in the door all day, and at lunchtime, you'll get like an influx of customers. Your job is to create those sandwiches as fast and as accurately to the order as possible, while keeping an eye on your thirst and pee meters. Your job is to earn as much money without being fired. So, you'll be expected to maintain a certain level of hygiene. Remember to clean the tables, wear gloves while making food, and sure, while you can save a few seconds by not washing your hands after you pee, you better hope that the health inspector doesn't swing by. And like all retail workers, you can always fast track your way into a better payday by skimming some cash from the till. But again, don't let your manager catch you. Of course, this was all a theorized concept. I didn't get to finish the core gameplay, but the game does look pretty, so that's a positive, right? In my head, I'm imagining a fast paced, multiplayer, cook serve delicious type game. I do wish that I spent more time on the gameplay element of this game rather than the visuals. I spent too much time importing high-res textures and PBR materials, but time management is something we'll look at in the next game. Art imitates life, or so I've heard, and for this next game we'll be taking some inspiration from the world around us. And one of my son's favourite stuffed toys is this dinosaur whose neck has, well, he's seen better days. So the idea I got was a sort of long-necked animal who managed to secure himself a job as a spy, and he has to traverse through obstacles, ducking down to avoid lasers and the like, with the hopes of getting faster times. A sort of Trackmania meets James Bond meets Jurassic Park type thing. Now, I'm no 3D modeler, so instead of having a dinosaur, we're going to swap out the Brachiosaurus for this 3D model of a giraffe that I found instead. And now, I gotta say, this game was actually pretty fun to play. Competing against your best times and chasing that sweet, sweet green time save is really addicting. Now, I only made a couple of levels of this game, but I really do think it has some potential. At day 6, it finally clicked for me why I wanted to start all of these new projects. It wasn't because I wanted to find a new long-term project. It was because I was trying to procrastinate from the task I was supposed to be spending my time on. And that task was preparing for my driving test, and in particular the control questions. You see, I was asked by my driving school to create an app to help students better prepare for their test by having a virtual car, with the hopes that instead of having to read a PDF file with 50 questions, you could instead learn using a more visual approach. But, like always when tasked with something, my brain decides to do anything but that. Luckily on day 6 I finally got around to starting this project, and you know what? After spending 2 days on it, I feel like I did an alright job. I mean, sure, there are some imperfections and I could definitely polish it up a little bit more, but for what it's worth, for what it's doing, I think this could help some people. And I mean, visually, it's good enough. I think having the actual car that you'll be taking your test in really does help. Anyway, if you made it this far into the video, thanks for watching. If you've got any other video ideas, let me know, and I'll probably get around to it in a year or two.